I'm back in the office. It's been a long time since I've been in the office. This is my first, vlog since coming back to the office. Today is March 22nd, actually my birthday. And Justin Abrams from BrightEdge, he's a Senior SEO Consultant at BrightEdge. He's coming to pay me a visit on my birthday to talk SEO. A lot of great topics. Looking forward to this conversation. I'm fully vaccinated, so you know, double shot as of 2 weeks ago, so I'm fully good to go. Don't know what Justin is, but we're meeting outside. It's nice weather, so we're gonna meet right outside the building. I really appreciate that he came out to visit me, and so I can get these vlogs going again. So there should be a big gap between this vlog and the one I did back in December. Again, it's March, so it's been a few months. But looking forward to getting these things back up and going again. I have a bunch of scheduled over the next couple weeks. Most of us are vaccinated. The ones that are not, probably do it outside or masked inside in my massive empty office that nobody's here with. So looking forward to speaking with Justin. Thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So thank you, Justin, for coming out here. I appreciate it. I heard you went hiking here yesterday.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Beautiful mountains in this area.
Beautiful, beautiful. We were around Lake Sebago and just did 4-mile loop with a bunch of friends. First time in like a year that you're gathering with your friends. Everybody's half vaccinated at this point. It's just like get back into nature. Yeah. It is great.
So like I said before you got here, I'm double vaccinated.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's filled with, but we're filled with stuff. And hopefully, this is pretty safe. We're still about like 6+ feet away.
Plenty of space. Do arm circles.
I appreciate you coming out. So could you tell people in that camera who you are?
Sure. I'm Justin Abrams. Specialize in digital search marketing. Work for an organization called BrightEdge. You may have heard of it. SEO Enterprise Solution. And my specific role with that organization is to support the most recognizable brands on the planet. And it's my pleasure to be here today with Barry on his birthday.
My birthday.
Big birthday applause. Yeah, and I own a small digital agency out of Long Island called Cause of a Kind, where we support organizations in the full digital ecosystem, everything from broadcast commercial to new development and technology to web ecosystems and everywhere in the middle.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out. I appreciate it.
Thanks
all the way from Long Island area.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful drive, beautiful weather today.
Perfect day.
It's the first day they warmed up. So
yeah.
I'm sure that was beautiful hiking weather as well.
Perfect day.
So you've been in the SEO space for a long time from your LinkedIn profile, which is what I use for everybody who comes here. Let's go through your history a little bit and see if I could trip you up on things that you've done in the past.
Cool.
So you did a lot of outdoor stuff, which is why you like hiking. So back in 2005, you worked, or in 2008 also, Climb High. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah. So I was in college at that time. In high school, I worked for Eastern Mountain Sports. We've all heard of that at some point. And I was a general outfitter. I knew I liked the outdoors, and I took that passion and skill set into retail sales. And I went and worked for Eastern Mountain Sports, and Eastern Mountain Sports didn't make it as far as Burlington. They had one outlet left in greater Burlington area. And when I went to school at UVM, I needed a job. I needed a way to make some money. So there's a couple of organizations in Burlington that are, specialized outdoor outfitters. And at the time there was an organization, it's no longer there anymore. I think it was on Bank Street, called Climb High. And I walked in there one day, just like young, passionate, knew a couple things about climbing and altitude mountaineering and snowboarding. And I don't know, they gave me the job almost immediately. And I've been in like outdoor retail sales almost as long as I've been in digital marketing.
It's amazing. So you've been in that space in terms of like hiking, climbing for how long?
My entire life. When I was 5 years old, I'll plug a local rock climbing gym. When I was 5 years old, my dad took me to Island Rock Climbing Gym on Long Island in Plainview, and I pressed my face up against the glass, and I've been rock climbing ever since.
Do you have any cool pictures online of you like hanging from the cliff, like almost?
Yeah, I have
falling?
all sorts of stuff, man.
You almost die or no? That's not.
So I have come pretty close to being incapacitated quite a few times. Not from climbing, from high altitude mountaineering. So I'm working my way through the 7 summits. I have 2 of them done already, Kilimanjaro and Mount Elbrus in Russia. Wow. And you push yourself to wherever that line is. You try not to cross that line, but sometimes
I do the same thing with blogging. I just push myself to that blogging line.
You have to.
I never almost died, not yet. But,
you have to. And I apply all of that, right? Like my life is a metaphor for a climb, like pushing towards your summit, and then like you hit like your goal, your summit approach, but coming down is actually the hardest part of your entire experience. So it's like not over committing, like not overselling it, or not over, justifying, like being humble when you achieve your goal. And then on the way down, you can encounter so many challenges, and you have the memory in the background. So now it's just a memory, and I got to get home safe to celebrate this experience. So I apply this, entire life that I've had in the outdoors and staying safe and all of this fun stuff to my professional career as well.
So Corona's been okay because you've been allowed to go outside. For me,
yeah.
I'm always inside. This is a lot of sun for me. The vitamin D is going to kill me later. So you like the outdoors?
I love the outdoors. Nice. I'm right on the beach. I'm a huge surfer. I spend a lot of time outside. We got a puppy during Corona, so
who hasn't, right?
That right? Who hasn't? So that's kept me super busy.
Awesome.
And my fiance is 7 months pregnant yesterday, so we really haven't been doing too much. I can't really go anywhere special, but we've made the absolute best of it. That's for sure.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
All right, so then you moved into this company. You did a lot of things. I don't know if you want to cover everything, but Big Apple marketing and
yeah.
I don't know what you want to go through. But.
That was my first. That's so great. Big Apple marketing. That's like really where I got like this true passionate, sales mentality. Right? When I talk to a lot of people, I'm like this hybrid of a digital marketer and a salesman. And when I was my first real job out of school, I started working for this company called Big Apple, which was a pyramid structure organization involved in a greater organization called the Smart Circle. And you may have even gotten these folks here before, right? It's door-to-door solicitors. People come dressed up. They're like really charismatic, and they want to sell you something. Maybe it's a paintball gift certificate or nights out to the movies or whatever.
Nice.
Right? You've seen this before. Yeah. And that's actually how I met my fiance over 13 years ago at this point. It's so long ago. And she was my original sales trainer in the field and literally taught me everything I knew about door-to-door sales and law of averages and rounding home base and listening to no and, defending your detractors and finding your buyer and all of these critical things that I was just a kid, going door to door, talk to whoever you see, you never know who your buyer is going to be. And I took that experience, which lasted for about a year, really wasn't that long. It's a really rigorous job, hitting the pavement's hard, rain or shine, you have to hit your numbers. And I took all of that and I have applied it. I think about it literally every day about how I would approach for my agency business. How do you get around a detractor? You might have two decision makers in a room. One of them is not so sure that this is for them. How do you, specifically isolate the champion? And I apply this all to BrightEdge on a daily basis, and it makes me a very effective, well-rounded digital marketer, and it allows me to hold the diversity of conversation. So that's a really cool job that I have in my past. And that job, I quickly got out of it and then went totally opposite direction to a learning specialist for Linda Mood Bell, working with, kids with special needs. And my wife, my fiance, is a special education teacher for Department of New York City. And so she went full on with that career. That wasn't for me. And I got back into digital and got back into Fintech startup where I spent 7 years as an early stage startup.
Interesting. Fintech back then when you started was probably brand new. And
yeah, so I was in an interesting spot. My father is a 40-year career compliance officer for big banks. And back then, I was coming out, I needed a summer job. I didn't really know what I wanted to do coming away from, that Smart Circle Big Apple organization and coming away from being a learning clinician at Linda Mood Bell. And I needed a job. So my dad brought me into an organization, and back then it was called Compliance Science. I was employee number 7 at an early stage fintech startup. This was pre-series A. We were just scrappy in loft space in downtown New York City. And I was with that organization for 7 years. I literally went hiking yesterday, as I said, with my boss, who's been my lifelong friend at this point. And that organization's still alive, called Compliance Science, or Comply-Sci. And I spent 7 years there growing that client services organization and their educational aspect of their business. And I was one of the early starters of that. And then I got recruited away from there to go into Martech, which is
How'd you make that jump from fintech to BrightEdge?
So at my core, I'm a client specialist. At my core, I'm a customer experience specialist. And when I got recruited from Compliance Science to BrightEdge, it was about that skill set. So I came to BrightEdge actually as a dedicated client services manager. And again, working with super recognizable brands, but I came in as a client specialist, not a technology specialist. I didn't come in as an SEO. I didn't even have a real like super background in digital or search marketing or anything like that. But I took that skill set and quickly applied it to the BrightEdge ecosystem, which is a customer focused, customer success focused organization. So I've matriculated really nicely. But then what's the strategic advantage of being truly successful in a technology business is taking that, core skill set that I have, and then of course, becoming a master of not only the technology, but a trusted advisor of the space. So coming into BrightEdge, that's a steep learning curve. You're immediately speaking to some of the savviest individuals in digital marketing, and they happen to be using this technology. So compound those two things together, like the learning curve is quick. Like you have to become a confident, authoritative, almost thought leader. But depending on how fast you pick this up, there's a ramp there that some folks can adapt to really fast and some folks are paralyzed by. For me, it just worked, and I was just passionate about it and enabled and educated and all the resources I could possibly need to be successful. And even to this day, being here, like I'm here on approval from the business. It's important to them that I grow and, that I do what I'm best at, which is,
Let me ask, when you first started at BrightEdge, they have a huge tech stack, right?
Huge.
How much time did they say, wait, sit in this room and learn our tech stack before you actually started dealing with customers?
Yeah, there's like a whole onboarding process at BrightEdge. Like we are taken through a very formal education as a new hire at the organization. And that educational process is like what kicks you off. And then there's a natural ramp, and you're working with your peers. You'll get assigned a peer advisor. And then for a period of time, maybe about 2 to 3 months, you're rigorously learning about the technology. You're rigorously talking to customers and supported by some seniors or veterans at the organization. And eventually, it's like this crawl, walk, run mentality. The business needs to be sure that you're enabled successfully, because the conversations that you need to be able to hold, they have to be bulletproof, right? Like you can't vacillate with a digital expert. It introduces risk into a partnership. So lots of times, right? I've been in this situation so many times. You'll get a real, true, savvy digital experience, and that individual is evaluating me 100% of the time until I qualify or I mess it up. So the goal is to, as frequently as possible, as early as you can in a relationship, whether it's an existing customer, new point of contact, or brand new customer, that time to first customer experience, definitely going to be, that's a differentiating factor. But BrightEdge gives you as much enablement as you could possibly consume. What I see is the individuals that truly become a student of the space and of the platform are the most successful.
Interesting. It's nice that they support you along the way. Have you ever been in a situation where you're on the phone with like maybe a manager and a customer and you just messed up and you're like, should I have said that? Or it was like maybe afterwards the person was like, you said something completely wrong, we're gonna like get screwed for that or something like that.
Not
to put you on camera and like try to find your faults.
So great. But I am unapologetically me. So I mess up all the time, and what I look for is coaching and feedback, right? It's the mirror complex. I'm a CrossFit athlete, no mirrors in a CrossFit gym. And like, unless you have a coach there helping you to adapt your craft, helping you to understand how to speak properly, how to generate cadence, how to hold a conversation, how to appear confident even if you're not confident, right? Like these are critical things that I've gained feedback over a long career of really savvy managers as well. Right. You can't just work for a great organization. The people that are in that organization are what make great employees, are what make great passion. And that's been a critical point for me. And of course, like where I see a lot of, my customers excel is that nurturing, right? Like taking a digital generalist and giving them the resources and support to become an SEO specialist and maintain their craft. Right, like this should be, and from what I see is totally common. So yeah, I've definitely messed up a couple times. I've definitely misrepresented. It's definitely hard as new technology arises, or as you speak about a piece of technology in the industry, or there's a brand new concept or an algorithm shift or something.
Right.
Sometimes you misspeak, and that critical feedback is not to damage me, it's to help me grow. And I'm one of those types of guys that I just need to be corrected once,
right.
And I'm full on.
Interesting. I read this book recently. I think it was from the Netflix founders, or Netflix founder. I'll just timestamp what it is.
Yeah.
And it was, the culture in Netflix is like, somebody does something that's wrong, you stop them right there in front of everybody, and you tell them they did something wrong in a very good way. You don't make them embarrassed. You just say, this is what you did wrong, and now let's move on. And that culture is just, whenever I speak at a conference, whenever I write something, people are sometimes nervous to tell me negative feedback.
Yeah.
I'm like, I only want the negative feedback.
That's
I
all
don't
I
want the positive feedback.
I don't need the positive.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
My most people that know me very well, I'm a very overly confident guy. I love the light. I just whatever. I just want to hear the negative growth stuff.
Right.
It's great to be, oh man, you have such good charisma. You can hold a conversation. All this is important. You're a really savvy digital generalist. You're a really good search marketer. Excellent. But what am I not great in? Where are the gaps?
Right.
I'm a technician. I need to know where I'm at fault. And another application is even with my own digital agency, my own business, I have business coaches.
Right.
When you're the CEO, you're the CEO. When you're the CEO of your own organization, you're relying on your team to maybe give you feedback, but that's an uncomfortable spot to be in. Right. So lots of times we bring in consultants, business advisors, people that don't necessarily know our space, but know a craft, how to sell, how to support, how to provide service. These are critical points of feedback that ultimately will help you to achieve your goal. You're not going to achieve your goal by just getting constant positive support. That's great and happy and all well and good, but you need to know. Yeah, that's important to me too.